1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Rob, when you read them out, you have to say how many stars.
Oh, okay.
If we've all worked really hard to get a 5-star, it's a shame if you don't say it. Okay?
All right.
I'm joking.
Thanks for the note, Kirk.
I'm joking.
I'm Rob Arayamo. I play John in I Swear.
My name's Kirk Jones. I'm the writer, director, producer of I Swear.
And I'm going to be reading reviews.
I will also be reading reviews.
From Letterboxd.
Who wants to go first, Rob?
You go first, Kirk.
Okay, I've got one, Rob. I've got one. It's from AJ. A movie that understands that one of the biggest challenges of living with Tourette's is sucking at blackjack. Great. So that's a detail that's in the script. John told me and told Rob, and Dottie told us as well, that John is useless at Christmas, at birthdays, at playing cards, because the nature of his tics is that whenever he's asked to not do something, he just does the opposite. It's ridiculous. You know, weeks before Christmas, the presents might go under the tree or someone might be talking about it, and he'd literally say, Murray's got a pair of socks. And he would just run through all the presents that he was aware of, so no one had any surprises. I always hope that it will get a little chuckle, but it gets one of the biggest laughs in the film, that moment.
Something can be written and look very funny on the page, but then when you put John in the situation and the circumstance and he's got a high level of anxiety, it's never the tic. The tic's going to happen no matter what John is feeling, but it's the way John feels about the tic and how it's changed the temperature of the room, whether it does or whether it doesn't. I've got a review from M. Never thought hearing the word spunk for milk and seeing a guy walk into a library would have me sobbing, but here we are. Sometimes the best dates are the ones where you're both sat crying your eyes out for 2 hours straight. That's funny.
That is the best cup of tea yet.
Great.
So,
Are you spunk for milk?
I mean, is it a good date movie to go see? Would you take a date to see I Swear?
Yeah, of course you would.
Okay, good. Well, there we go then. You made the right choice. Shooting the library scene, one of the big elements of the film, I think, that was in Kirk's head. He knew kind of what he wanted me to do, but at the same time, he was just sort of like set the camera up in a way where I could just sort of like do what I wanted, and the camera followed me and stuff like that. One of the best things about the film was that we sort of always shot it in a way where we could be surprised.
Sometimes it can be really hard to not do anything. If you'd have had a monologue as you walk around the library, great, you know what you're doing, off you go. But it's like you had to do nothing and just appreciate the silence and the weight of the moment, which you did beautifully. So it was
but also it was a similar experience for the audience, I think, as it was for us, because the set was so noisy and so loud, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just because of what we were shooting and what we were doing, but also like the crew, everyone really got on. And so there wasn't very many quiet moments while we were shooting. So it was a very sort of surreal experience of sort of feeling what he was feeling for, you know, different reasons.
It's the calmest, most beautiful, still, quiet scene that I've probably ever shot. 4-star. It's from Zestol. This film fits perfectly in the tradition of British films about hardship in a small town that will make you laugh and cry and restore your faith in humanity. That's very nice. There's a reason the formula works so well. Great movie to watch with people. I would agree. Always nice to watch films with people. If you are laughing, you can laugh with people. And if you're crying, they can offer you a tissue, perhaps. We had some screenings where we had people from the Tourette's community and people who are neurodiverse, and they were welcomed into the cinema. I think John Davidson himself watched I Swear in the cinema, and it had been something like 40 years since he was last in the cinema watching E.T. as a birthday treat. People with Tourette's are targeted in screenings because often they might not be keeping still, they might have tics, they might shout out, they might swear. It wasn't just John, there's a lot of people who have started to go back to the cinema in the hope that there will be a little bit more understanding.
We did a screening in Hull, where I'm from, which was amazing and so touching. And obviously it's full of people and everybody's, you know, it was a really good evening, but it was an event, you know. And so when people tell me that they're in the middle of the country somewhere and, you know, no connection with the film, and it's a Monday night or something and it was packed, when you hear that, like that was amazing.
It's a British film, and a lot of people have said to me they like seeing British films. They like seeing films which are set in this country, which have a certain level of humour and emotion and kind of working class story and working class background, like Billy Elliot or Full Monty or those kind of films.
I just think there's just a quality to a great British film that can't be perhaps explained. But I think that's what's so great about going to see it in the cinema, because it's about the people that you go with and that community instead of being in your living room. I'll read this one. There could be 100 people in the room and 99 of them don't believe you, and all it takes is that one Dottie who does. I love that one. Maxine Peake, who plays Dottie, is amazing and an incredible person to work with. She brought this warmth to the character. You can't fake that, she just has it, you know? Real life Dottie, one of the most amazing people I've ever met.
It wasn't until we'd finished filming, we were actually at the wrap party and I was talking to someone and they said, you know John wasn't the first, don't you? And I said, what do you mean? And they said there were about 7 or 8 other young people that Dottie literally took into the family, helped straighten them out, and then helped get them back on their way again.
I have another review from Theo, 3.5 stars, and he says, fellow Scots will understand just how much Peter Mullen saying, you cunt you, over and over means. Brought home the fact that he will one day walk above us, and I'm not sure I'll be ready for that one. Me neither. Gobsmacked and gutted that Robert Arayamo isn't Scottish. I love working with Peter, and I've been lucky enough to do it a few times. That man is just a total legend. I mean, I am just obsessed with Peter Mullen. He's just a great person to be around, and you feel good when you're around him. For a Scot to say that gobsmacked that Robert Arayamo isn't Scottish, that's lovely.
I don't mind getting my hands dirty, you know.
Okay.
I'm a lazy bastard.
I love Scotland. I spend so much time in Scotland. I honestly do. I mean, I'm not going to go into it because I'll just keep waffling on, but I am obsessed with that country. Just to be a part of a really Scottish story, I knew from the word go that you know, that was going to be a big thing. It's as an Englishman to play a Scotsman, you know, I didn't want to underestimate that challenge. So, an amazing dialect coach called Mary Howland who really helped me and really worked hard with me, and you know, I just feel really thankful to have had that help.
It's from Neil, 5 stars. He says, keep your Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen and Robbie Williams and give me 1,000 more biopics about people like John Davidson. That's nice to see. We seem to be obsessed with superheroes in cinema at the moment, and have been for some time, but to my mind, John Davidson is a superhero, and he kind of battles every day with living with Tourette's, and he has done for 40 years. And that's the story that I want to hear. That's the journey and the adventure that I want to go on.
The thing about the biopic is it's always the reason is why, isn't it? There's a strong why behind why Kirk wanted to make the film, how special he is and what he's done with his life, and that telling it as a film rather than all the documentaries that have been made about John, I think also was an interesting choice because it just hits people in a different place. Speaking about him as much as we can and the work that he's done, it's a great thing. Shimmering Neon Lights, 4 stars, Kirk. The film won me over in minute 1 when I realised the turquoise necklace hanging around John's neck as he gets ready to receive his MBE is actually a jewellery pendant. It is. John, when he was younger, used to do something physically to try and stop his tics and try and help with when he was younger before he understood about his tics and stuff. And then he started buying a key ring for relief and stuff like that, and then he picked up this jewellery thing. So that was like one of the things that we wanted to sort of chronicle as he gets older, is the different ways that he sort of like dealt with that fixation and stuff. It hit me like a wave. I swear I have never felt so represented on film before as through this single bit of plastic. Not a plot point, just a grown man existing with dignity, honouring their sensory needs in any setting. No apology, no attempt to hide it, just a turquoise pendant saying everything without a word. I absolutely love that. I mean, that's just amazing. It makes me think of Andrea, who we work with in the film. She lives with Tourette's, and she was so gracious about her experience and her knowledge and open about stuff. And she really added to the film, I think, because of her experience and what she could bring to the script and to the role, but also how amazing she is as an actor. Like, I loved working with Andrea.
Rob was very, very good with those details. He'd spoken to so many people and done so much research that he would inform me about little bits of the paraphernalia that kind of went with the condition. But also as an actor, you know, Rob and other actors I've always worked with, you know, they just like things. They're like little things that they can hold, that are part of their story, that they can fiddle with or play with, and that have got a reason for being on them. Nice little detail to tell the story.
I've got one here from Colith. It's a 4.5 star review, Kirk.
Nice, Rob.
It says, "Fuck you, Oasis. Stop telling me what to do. I'll cry all I want."
I just thought, I'd just try that Oasis song, you know, Stop Crying Your Heart Out. And as soon as I heard it, I fell in love with it. The final track of any movie or the song that goes over the titles is always key.
Music is a big part of the film, isn't it? Lots of people have spoken to me about the music in the film, and I think people have enjoyed going through the different eras with the music.
I've just come back from a festival in France, and I reckon 50% of people who came up to me and talked about the film were so excited that we'd used New Order, Blue Monday, at the beginning of the film. It was like a key talking point for them. It was like, oh my God, you used New Order. And it affects people differently, you know, so if people connect to it, then that's great. I do like making people cry, and I've been only in my films, of course, but what it means for me is that people are totally emotionally engaged with the story. Otherwise, you do not cry. If you're sat there thinking, I don't believe this dialogue, or I'm bored with this, or what time is it, then you don't cry. So when people say, I cried, it suggests to me that they are totally engaged in John's story. And that suggests that maybe we've got a few things right.